Assalamu alaikum madada na makaka, wazee kwa vijana. Basi leo house.
Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. And today this is a push and pull with my usual show. This is a push and pull show, youth and politics. And today's topic is very important. Today's topic, I'm going to talk about politics and the COVID-19. Of course, you all know what is COVID-19. COVID-19, this coronavirus thing that has affected the economy around the world. And to be very much specific, I'm going to talk about how politics have interfered in the fight against COVID-19. And the questions to be answered today are very simple. First of all, we need to know what's the role of the Kenyan government on the fight against COVID-19. What's their role? And number two, what's the role of the youth in the fight against COVID-19? Because we've seen youth are really doing good work to fight coronavirus. Should we think of politics and leave the COVID-19 aside? Should we do that? And how sure are we as Kenyans that the COVID-19, if those numbers are genuine? And then lastly, why are Kenyans doubting the government and the Ministry of Health? Why are we doubting? And of course, things have changed. In the first week, when the first case was announced, that was on 13th of March this year, everybody took COVID-19 seriously. Not until when the government started focusing on politics and left aside patients to pay for themselves in those quarantine areas and even to pay for their medication, then Kenyans stopped following or taking seriously the COVID-19 issues. And of course, I want to ask, because all of you understand that we stopped this when, let me say, the president himself started politicking. Of course, he has politicized everything. You know, if the president is very much serious, the way he is serious with his legacy, he is supposed to address the issue of COVID-19 with much integrity and seriousness. I don't know if you are getting me on that. And you know, leaders not respecting the World Health Organization's guidelines and rules of wearing masks and maintaining social distance. Of course, we've seen this recently, but not recently, this week. Was it on Friday? Actually, with other leaders who are supposed to act as examples, are in a meeting over 50 members and are not observing any social distance. These people did not have masks. If they did, only 10% of those guys had masks. And Kenyans are watching this. You are seeing up and down that Kenyans should wear masks. Kenyans are very responsible, yet our own leaders are very irresponsible. How do we go about this? Leaders are very responsible. Now, it is now politics and not how to fight COVID-19. You remember recently, President Uhuru summoned senators to come to the State House. If we could have used that energy the way he's using it currently in politics to fight COVID-19, do you think Kenyans will be sleeping hungry? Do you think people will be poisoned or be given poisonous food? Of course no. So I urge the president to use the same efforts to fight COVID-19, because the very much efforts he used to remove Kipchumba Murkomen and the Kihika from those posts, he should use the same way to fight coronavirus, because we have so many people in the slums who are sleeping hungry on empty stomachs. Not even Kibra alone, not even slums alone. I lack words to describe this, but of course, people are suffering. These people have taken much interest. In fact, COVID-19 is now a way of getting money. Of course, Kenyans are saying up and down, they're moving up and down saying that no, do you know what? The government's work here is to get money, to get funds, to get foreign aid. I don't know if this is true. But of course, let me ask yourself why. Ask yourself why, as a Kenyan, where did we go wrong? Huh? Mutahi Kagwe and his friends or his colleagues are taking tea worth 10 million, and yet there is a person, a guy in Kibra, does not even have a cup of tea on a day. Now, when the citizens complained about the looting of COVID-19 money by the Ministry of Health, the president came in to defend. And yet we've been complaining about other people stealing. You don't defend them. The president, your words are questionable. Your words are questionable. We need to question you, because how do you defend the Ministry of Health and you fail to defend other people who we say they are thieves? Yes. Talk of other people who have been accused of stealing. People are even in your offices. Instead of fighting corruption, you are changing them from positions to positions. Moving from one position to another. From the Ministry of Agriculture, you go to Ministry of Interior. You like vice versa. Do you mean you are exchanging theft cases to other areas where there is no theft, instead of focusing on the fight against coronavirus that is really, really killing Kenyans? It is so frustrating to see our leaders, instead of joining hands to fight coronavirus, they're only focusing on their political legacy, on 2022 general election, yet we have 2 years left. Where did we go wrong? Youths have been set aside. Oh, let me come back to you. Youths have been left aside. But currently we've seen that youths have taken an upper hand in fighting the COVID-19 virus. Of course, we've said, and Kenyans were saying, if the president can use such efforts to combat COVID-19, do you think the country could be in the current mess? This was after I asked them if the president can use the same efforts in fighting corruption, in fighting for numbers in the parliament, both in the lower house and upper house. Do you think if we use that effort, do you think we are going somewhere? Then youths have been doing a lot. Of course, thank you youths for doing a lot of work in fighting COVID-19. They have become more creative. Youths are becoming very innovative. But now the problem is one. They are never recognized. They are never recognized. And when the opportunities come, they only go for older people. Of course, the government is full of older people. Can you count for me how many youths are in those ministerial seats? How many youths are there? Nominated youths are there? How many? You can mention them. There are very few. I can say one example of youths who are doing a great job is Mike Oyola, who lives in Kawangware slum. And he has started distributing soaps in slums and vulnerable communities. And Oyola doesn't get any support from the government. He uses his own money. He's a graduate and he has a degree in community health. So he distributes soaps and educates people on how to wash their hands in the slum for free. Yet the leaders are fighting up and down. Number two, we have this lady called Kamau Catherine. She has creating support network for women in crisis. Of course, right now we've seen women are suffering domestic violence, gender-based violence. So with Kamau or Catherine, she has created a platform where women can come on social media, this Facebook, and they can share their stories and they get encouragement. This is a very great deal that youth or our politicians should be focusing on it and helping our youths in supporting them to do what they are doing, instead of fighting for political opportunities in the parliament. This is not advisable. This is not even recommended at all. I don't know if these leaders are human enough. And lastly, inclusive education for out-of-school students. This is Kelvin Guma, who is from Vihiga County. Of course, he is doing a good job. He has this what we call SAIDE, S-A-I-D-E, Community Library in Vihiga, that provides free learning to local children. Of course, he provides free learning to local children, whereby children come to the library. Of course, we know that COVID-19 has affected the academic calendar, and students are not learning. They are very idle, and you know very well that an idle mind is a devil's workshop, and we don't need that. So he's doing a great job having that library to accommodate students on intervals, different intervals. But now, you see, now youth are fighting in this. Now, do you think if youth are elected in those opportunities, they can fail to put something tangible on the table? Do you think they cannot put something tangible on the table? Of course they will. And I know, I have great passion and great belief that when these youths are given those opportunities, they're going to do much great work than these people who have been there years come, years go. They have been there and they're doing literally nothing. I'm not taking any sides. I'm not taking any political side. But believe me, we have to fight COVID-19 in the right direction. We have to fight COVID-19 togetherly. Nothing like I'm a youth leader or I want political seats like what we are seeing currently. Of course, you can even see that the Senate Speaker, that is Kennedy Lusaka, the way he was reading that statement of Kipchumba's removal from the Senate majority seat, his body language was alarming. It seems like he was pushed to do so. I don't know if Kenyans, you watched that, especially youth. If you watch that, you can bear with me. You can agree with me that his body language was diminishing. It was alarming that there was something beyond that body language. And he was not doing it wholeheartedly. Of course, the removal of Kindiki comes in the fight against corruption. Do we fight corruption or should we focus on political agendas? Should we focus on building someone's legacy as Kenyans are dying? Excuse me, youths, why can't we stand up? Because I know in the coming future we are going to have protests. We are going to have youth in the streets striking, complaining about their issues that they're not being listened to. It is good that we do it as early as now, when the sunshine still shines. It pains a lot to find out that youth are trying. You can see when you walk around, youth have created different posters, writings, graphics. They're using all their creativity to ensure that we are fighting corruption. But of course, wait. On the issue of COVID-19, Kenyans are asking, is it true that these numbers are genuine? Mutahi Kagwe should come out open on this. The rate at which politics have been put in this fight against COVID-19 is alarming, because we see leaders converging together, yet you say that we are fighting corruption. When they converge together, we don't know what they discussed. If you discussed on how to fight corruption, can you make it public? We are the foolish people here. We elect them. We don't even want them. Like right now, we youth are complaining. But of course, let me blame we youth again. You take handouts from those leaders. Right now, they are returning their money in their pockets, the one they gave you in 2017, 2013. Why do you complain that they're not helping you out? The only way you are going to fight this COVID-19 issue, we youth should stand firm and say that we are not going to take any handouts from these political leaders. Let them stay with their own money and to elect leaders with integrity. Leaders who go there to represent the Kenyan interests. Not leaders who go there to sleep in the parliament, only to go there and shout instead of giving us a legal way on how we can fight COVID-19. Are we fighting COVID-19 or we are fighting other political leaders? To an extent that we are poisoning innocent Kenyans because we want political favoritism. Of course, right now youth have opened their eyes. We are now open-minded. You cannot come to a youth with those handouts and expect them to receive the same money and vote for you. I know. Right now, politicians are quiet. But come 2021, the end of 2021, you will start giving handouts, demanding for our votes. And we are watching. We are listening to you. We are seeing what you are doing. When a dog barks, don't shout at the dog. Look for the owner of that dog. We are the owners of the dogs that are barking. We are the voters. We have the votes with us. We need to check out clearly. Are we electing people who will fight any calamity that might come across? Recently, we've seen the calamity that happened in Turkana or Rift Valley. The floods has killed so many people compared to what COVID-19 has done. But little attention has been devised to fight the same. I didn't see any political leader shouting or going to visit those areas and consoling them, the people affected. I didn't see that. Instead, leaders are converging, discussing on how to win the 2022 general election. Oh no, let us not do this. It is very unfair to start talking of 2022 while our Kenyans are suffering. Our Kenyans are languishing in poverty. Well, if you are watching me out there, please think. You are a voter. Please think. I urge you to think of your leader. Is he or she working to ensure that there is water for you to wash your hands? For he or she to ensure that you have a mask on your face? For he or she to ensure that you have something to eat during this calamity? But of course, we are still behaving normally. Kenyans are behaving normally, not because they want to behave normally, but because our leaders are behaving normally. Why? Why do we behave normally? Kenyans, it is a high time we style up. This country needs youth revolution. And it starts with me and you. This issue of our political leaders telling us that youth are the leaders of tomorrow. We are not the leaders of tomorrow. Get it from me. We are the leaders of today. These old people come to you telling you that you are the leaders of tomorrow so that they can continue looting, continue disgrading us as they continue surviving, as we continue waiting for tomorrow. We are the leaders of today. I repeat, youth, we are the leaders of today. Nobody should come to you with a hidden agenda that you are the leaders of tomorrow. I deny that. I totally disagree with that. It is quite alarming that the fight against COVID-19 has turned into politics. The youths have been left aside, although they are in the front line of fighting coronavirus. They are really fighting coronavirus. We are waiting. And I have a dream that one day our Kenyan leaders will know the importance of each and every voter. And our voters will know the importance of their votes. Although our votes don't count, we just vote, but the system knows. But I have a dream that one day, one time, all Kenyans will be educated and they will know how to choose leaders of integrity, how to choose leaders who should represent them well in the parliament, how to choose leaders or elect leaders who know whatever they are doing. It requires revolution. It requires my effort and your effort. Because now, Kenyans have been left on their own to fight COVID-19. And of course, I've been on social media on Facebook. Kenyans are asking, are these numbers genuine? Because if you ask a Kenyan, they tell you, I don't know anybody who knows somebody who suffers from COVID-19. We've been told that COVID-19 takes at least 14 days for you to recover. But some people, somewhere, who have been affected by COVID-19, people have been to ICU. We know their voices. We know how they speak. You cannot speak with much effort and voice like that if you are from ICU beds. It is impossible. In as much as you people are trying to blind us, Kenyans, we are watching. We are watching you. And the time is coming when all of us will open our eyes. Someone sleeping on an empty stomach. Yet our leaders are disobeying the World Health Organization's rules and guidelines. There's a lockdown. How did these leaders travel from their respective counties to converge in Atwali's home in Kajiado? But you cannot allow a common mwananchi to travel. There are so many youths who have been locked out of Nairobi. They were supposed to report to their jobs, but they haven't done so because they've been locked out of Nairobi. But these leaders are breaking the same rules. We know very well that Nairobi has been locked down. How did they pass? Are they trespassing? I know youth, you are afraid to raise this issue. But this platform, Youth and Politics, gives you an opportunity to raise your views, gives you an opportunity to discuss your views. Reach out to your leaders, condemn them. We need roads. But leaders are sleeping on their duties. The only thing they know is their stomachs. They only need money. But they forget people who voted for them to those opportunities. I have a dream that one day, one time, all Kenyans will be educated. All Kenyans will be educated so that they can choose leaders of integrity, so that they can elect leaders of integrity. My heart is weeping for Akina Wanjikus and Wanjois are enjoying their lives as other people are languishing in poverty. It is so sarcastic, so ironic. We curse such leaders. But they'll come to us in 2022, humbling themselves that we should vote for them. And sisi kama wajinga sisi tutawapa kura zetu. Tutawapatia kura tena. Wakati mwingine pia silaumu viongozi wetu. I blame ourselves. We have to blame ourselves. The problem starts with me and you. Wakija na hizo hamsini zao, tutawapa kura, tutabeba kura zetu na tutaamka asubuhi mapema saa 9 asubuhi tutaamka twende tuwapatie kura zetu. Tutaamka asubuhi mapema kupanga foleni kuwapigia viongozi wale ambao walitupa shilingi 50, shilingi 100, shilingi 200 kuwapigia kura ili baadaye waje watuangaishe. Wakati tunapopatwa na janga hawajitokezi kutusaidia. Inahuzunisha kiasi gani tunapoona ya kwamba COVID-19 imeingizwa siasa. Ni vigumu kuamini hizo nambari ambazo zinatangazwa kila siku, kila kuchao, zinapoendelea kuongezeka na hatujapatiwa suluhisho kamili. Inahuzunisha jinsi gani. Wajinga ni sisi. Mjinga ni mimi na wewe. Na kura zetu ifikapo mwaka 2022. I'm not inciting anybody. These are my views. I've sat down. I've checked social media pages, Facebook, Twitter, and I've seen people's complaints. They are complaining about those digits. They are complaining that it's about politics and not COVID anymore. In fact, 80% of Kenyans are telling me that there's no COVID-19. Of course we know it is there, it exists. But the rate at which politics have been integrated into the fight against COVID-19, it leaves Kenyans with no option other than saying, hakuna corona. Ni pesa ya msaada hao viongozi wanahitaji. So far we've used over 41 billion in the fight against COVID-19. And I've been walking all over Nairobi. I've not seen anybody, absolutely none, who wears any mask labeled the government. Absolutely no one. Fellow Kenyans, let us open our eyes. Let us think outside the box. Let us revisit where we went wrong, why we trusted our leaders most and forgot that we are the people who've given them that mandate. It is quite diminishing to see, instead of our leaders fighting COVID-19, they are demolishing houses of innocent Kenyans in Kariobangi. Where do you want those people to sleep? 1 a.m. These people, you are discouraging social gatherings. Yet you are demolishing their houses. Where do you want them to go? You've locked Nairobi down. Where do you want them to pass from as they go to other places where they need help? Where do you want them to go? Leaders, where do you want them to go? It is very painful to see our fellow Kenyans sleeping outside. And it is a rainy season outside. Because of the people we elected. Their leaders cannot stand out and say, no, can you please let them be until we fight coronavirus, then they can move to another place. Why can't we do that? Why can't we do that? Why can't we do that as leaders? I know leaders will be watching this. One day, one time, I have a dream, and I repeat, I have a dream that Kenyans, all Kenyans, will get educated, and they will understand that it is their right to elect leaders of integrity, not to elect leaders who give them 50 shillings, 100 shillings, at most 200 shillings. We say no to handouts. We are saying no. I'm not inciting anybody. I'm just encouraging you. We as youths, it is a high time we should stand up. I've heard there are so many job opportunities that are created for youths. Let's watch and see if Uhuru himself is going to employ or to choose all the men and women to work in those positions. Let us watch and see how it goes. Meanwhile, let us wash our hands. Let us wear our masks in public places. Let us maintain social distancing without looking what our leaders do. They preach water, but back at home, they take wine. They preach peace, but back in their minds, they're thinking of how to kill innocent Kenyans. How sarcastic and ironic it is to hear such in the 21st century. God is watching. Let us ensure we fellow Kenyans that we are maintaining and following the World Health Organization's guidelines and rules of washing our hands, maintaining social distancing, avoiding social gatherings, and staying at home. Let us be safe. Let us avoid wrangles with the government. Let us be who we are. Tuvumilie kidogo. Mungu naye anatuangalia. Thank you for listening. Please, let us share this, that Kenyans should understand. As I finish this, I tell you this. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter where you come from. What matters is how your heart obeys what God has planted in you. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow our channel, this Youth and Politics. Thank you for watching, and bye-bye guys. Let's wash our hands and maintain cleanliness.